Should be up. Should be up. See, and it is. Give it a quick second. Let people get in here right quick. I just got the noti for it. This is gonna be perfect timing too. Like I think as soon as we wrap up, it's gonna be tip off for the Mavericks Thunder game too.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go ahead and get right into it. Welcome back to the Off the Glass podcast. This is episode 57. Today we are going to be talking through both Game 7 previews that are going on tomorrow night. So that is Timberwolves Nuggets and Knicks Pacers. And then also we're obviously going to be previewing the game that's going to tip off basically as soon as we wrap up here, which is going to be Thunder Mavericks. Talk through can OKC potentially force a Game 7 in that series. And then on the back end, I wanted to just talk through now that we're almost to the conference finals, like what the most memorable moments of the playoffs are. So not necessarily don't have to be a whole performance. It could literally be something as small as Jamal Murray throwing a heat pack on the court. So I think a lot of wild stuff has already kind of happened in this playoffs, and it's been happening so fast every day. Like I want to take a look back now at some of the stuff that's going on. But before we get into all that, as always, how we doing today, Dame? How we feeling, bro?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Excited.
Mm-hmm.
Should have a good game tonight, and then 2 Game 7s back to back.
You keep that.
It's
Best 2 words in sports, man. The best 2 words in sports. Game 7.
You got a Game 7 in the Garden.
Game 7 in the Garden.
And then even Game 7 in Denver is going to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be insane.
I said in my video, that Denver crowd, they get rowdy, bro. I told you when I went last year and they were playing the Suns in the second round. From about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, nobody in the arena sat down. Everybody was standing up.
I believe it.
Suns fans standing up, going at Nuggets fans in the crowd. The energy just was electric. And the city, it's so perfect because I think it's the Avalanche is the team that plays in Denver, the hockey team. They were good. I don't know if they're good this year. They were good last year. So it's like they were in the playoffs at the same time. The MLB season had just started, so the Rockies were playing. It was like, bro, downtown was buzzing just nonstop, 24/7. Before we get into the Game 7 preview, is going to bring back the segment that we started last week which is quotes of the week. Going to keep it more brief than last time because, again, we have a lot of basketball to talk to, and we are definitely going to try to get out of here on time for the tip-off of the Mavs Thunder game. But I have a couple of ones here because some people still have been saying some wild stuff that I need to get your takes on. And I'm going to start here going to your favorite team.
Oh, God.
With the Lakers, Nick Young, of all people, came out and he blamed D'Angelo Russell for the Lakers' collapse this year, saying they depended on D'Lo, and that's just you're asking to lose. You're asking to lose right there, placing your faith in that. What do you expect? They put their faith in the snitch, and the snitch let you down. So, how you feel about that, bro? He clearly is still bent up.
He's still over the
Iggy Azalea situation.
Only thing I got from that is bro is still hurt by that. That's all I got from that. Bro still has hate in his heart, which I mean, you know
right.
What I'm saying? So he's still hurt a little bit. He's still, got bad blood there. That's pretty much what I got from it. Because in reality, D'Lo ain't like. I didn't look at the like us losing them like, dang, like if we had something better than D'Lo, we would have won. Like it's just he had his good games, had his bad games. He's way better than last Western Conference. Last time we played the Nuggets. Last time he was like, bro, I could have did better than that. But he had his games and he had his bad games. So I just take that as Young is still got hate in his heart, man. Some people look, I respect it. Some people, when it comes to certain people, that hate don't go away.
No,
you see Draymond on TNT. He's on live
That's
television.
One of the quotes I got here for you.
I figured. Matter of fact, I'll let you get to it then. I'll let you get to it.
Only other thing I want to say, it's crazy to think back. Like that happened early in D'Lo's career. Like
that happened years ago, bro. Years ago.
So for him to, carved out the career that he had, because it definitely could have derailed off of some
He
off
got
the court
traded.
stuff.
He got
Yeah,
traded
like
because of that. Like
right.
he could have got shipped off to some wherever team and just never been relevant ever again just because
Right.
he wanted to. It was kind of it was corny what he did though.
Wild.
It was wild. Yeah, it was wild.
Wildly out of pocket. Next one I got from here. Don't know who the source is. This is Ryan Russillo that's reporting it. He's saying that an anonymous NBA team member says that having the number 1 pick in this year's draft is essentially like drafting Tobias Harris at number 1. What do you think about that? And I don't know how much if you've started to do any type of draft scouting or looking at prospects, but I would just say, bro, as a prospect, how would you feel like reading that coming out in the news and just all the talk in the media has been like, this is the weakest draft class. It's like, dang, bro, this is my draft class. So, you know
Right,
what I
yeah,
mean?
I'd be crazy disrespected. It's like in the NFL, and they'd be like, "It's a terrible receiver class, a terrible running back class," and I'm a running back. I'm like, "Dang, like I'm
Right.
not." What's that? What's up with that? But I mean, honestly, like I don't watch college basketball like that. I'm not really too up to date when it comes to prospects and things like that. But from what I've been hearing, that's kind of been the rumblings, pretty much all season. That's been like the rumblings, like, "Oh, this draft class ain't really all that," which is tough for the people that, like I said, are in this draft class because, yeah, you feel like, bro, I'm trash or something like that, or it's tough for who got the Hawks, I believe, got the number 1 overall pick,
Yep.
which is like I believe it's the first time ever getting the number 1
It
overall pick, and
is.
now they're like, we about to get a Tobias Harris, you know what I mean? So I guess we'll see what happens because every draft, obviously, even if it's a quote unquote weaker draft, there will be some players that will
Right.
carve out a career or who knows, be a star. Like you just never know
Yep.
in any draft class. So there will be someone. You just gotta find the right ones, draft the right guys.
You said exactly what I was going to say. You say it's a weak draft class, so there's not top end talent in here. Nikola Jokic was drafted in the 2nd round during a Taco Bell ad.
Literally.
Nobody knew Giannis was going to be what Giannis was going to be when he was picked outside of the lottery. It's a lot of guys that go later in the draft or in the 2nd round of quote unquote good draft classes that, pan out to be generational Hall of Fame players. So it's going to be talent in the draft class. There may not be an obvious pick as the last couple of years where you've had the Wembys and the Paolos and the, Kay Cunninghams, but there's talent there. And even the little bit that I've started to like look through, leading up to the draft, like, bro, there's a lot of very high quality players in this draft. And there's a lot of people that are going to come into the league and be multiple time all-stars, just based on early analysis from what I've seen. So don't let the hype get to you. The draft class has got some people in it. It might not be as, like I said, up front as the last ones, but it's definitely some players in here. Next one, I guess, isn't really a quote as much as it is a report, but Fred Katz is I believe a Knicks reporter reported that a Knicks player let out a big fart in the locker room before Game 5, and that really loosened the team up. Everybody was tight, tense going into Game 5, and apparently the fart just, everybody let out a laugh, chuckled, and they went out and balled out, bro. So.
Oh, bro, what are we talking about here? What? Are you for real? This is a real quote.
Swear to God, bro.
What are we even talking about? Why is this even news? Why is this a quote? To say let out a big fart and it eased the tension. I mean, it always is a funny way to, like, especially in a high stress situation, I guess, make
Right.
everybody laugh, calm people's nerves a little bit. But hey, if it works, it works.
You know what happened, right?
With the what? You talking about in Game 5?
No, with the fart, bro. Somebody, went to the bodega, get them a chopped cheese, hit him with a Sean, gave him the bubble guts, bro.
Bro, the fact that that's like a quote is hilarious. But hey, man, whatever works, man. Get the nerves going, ease the tension a little bit. Some people, they gotta use the bathroom before games because they're nervous. Some people throw up before games. Or so, well, basketball too. Some people throw up for a game. So.
Yeah. Hey, Brunson had 44. So if it was him, do it
Maybe.
again. You might need it in Game 7. Go get you that chopped cheese.
You might.
And the last one I have, you already called it. It was going to be the Draymond Green quote. If y'all haven't seen it, he was on TNT at halftime and after the game. I think he was covering for Charles Barkley that night on TNT and was giving it to Rudy at halftime and after the game. I think the best quote he's had was he was talking about what's he say? He's at the podium talking about we.
You talking about we. You know, you
need to get a stop.
Oh yeah, get a stop. That's what it was. Yeah.
But he then went on his podcast and he said a lot, and it all really boils down to the fact that he said that there's a center on the court who won Defensive Player of the Year, and the Timberwolves are asking Cat to go guard Jokic, who is giving y'all the business essentially. And I'm gonna say a little bit and then turn it over to you. Really, I think of all people to be saying this is lame coming from Draymond because it's so clear he's only saying this because he hates Rudy Gobert. Like Draymond and Green, every single defender, like they get maximized because they play their role a very specific way. Rudy Gobert is not a guy who is just going to bang against a low post big man. That's not how he became a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year player. He's a great rim protector and help side guy. I know Draymond knows that. That's what makes this so funny to me. And Draymond be up there talking about something. He wouldn't do that to me. He wouldn't do that to me. You know, he only played against the Nuggets one time this year because he wasn't playing other games because he was suspended. And I'm pretty sure in the one game he played, Jokic gave him 36 and 12. So he still hangs his hat on the Warriors sweeping him that 1 year when Campazzo, Will Barton was starting. Neither one of them are even in the NBA anymore. Shout out to Campazzo. He actually just won the MVP in the Spanish league.
He actually played well in those playoffs.
It just goes to show you it's like that is not even the same Nuggets team. No Jamal Murray, no MPJ. Two of their starters are not NBA players anymore. And that was just a couple of years ago, literally 2 playoffs ago.
Right.
Like, we have to get into reality, bro. So what you think about Draymond saying that, bro?
I think it's just funny. It just comes from a place of just he just hates Rudy Gobert, bro. Because one, Jokic will give you the work, bro. Like switch you and Rudy Gobert, he's dropping 40 on you too. Like
right. If the team is gonna ask you to body him up 1-on-1, Jokic is feasting. Jokic is feasting on everybody.
But say, and that's the crazy part is it's not even a slight to you or Rudy Gobert because it does not matter. If you watched Jokic play that game, there's not a player on the planet that was stopping him, bro. There is not a player who was stopping him. He was the definition of unguardable, bro, and absolutely locked in, aggressive. He played like I think we talked about it before. Like that was like I'm the best player in the world. I'm taking over. We're not losing this game type of performance. Like he played fantastic. There was nobody in the world that was stopping him. And Rudy Gobert really didn't play bad. Like he
played good.
He played good.
Look at some of the shots Jokic was making. I really need people like who get on Gobert and people are. I've seen a lot of takes just like, how can he be a DPOY if he get done up like this in the playoffs? Like, are you watching it or are you looking at the box score? If you look at the box score, yeah, it looks like he got killed. And he did get killed. It was barbecue chicken. But are you watching how Jokic is scoring? Because what do you want Rudy to do in some of these instances, bro? He's in the perfect spot every time. Sometimes offense just wins.
Offense beats defense all the time. It just does, bro. It really just does. The best players in the world, you cannot stop them, bro. It does not matter how great of a defender you are, who you are. The guys that are at the tippity top as far as talent-wise and as far as being able to score the ball, you're not. It doesn't matter how good of a defender you are. You're not stopping them, bro. Especially when they're in that zone or in that mode. It's like you're not stopping them, bro. You're just not. So, yeah, it's just funny how he gets people are hating on Gobert right now, which is weird coming from me because you know me, I'm not the biggest Rudy fan, but I can be unbiased. I can be like real right now. He did not play bad whatsoever. He just ran into the best player in the world on one of those nights. Like it is what it is, bro.
What happened to all that new media talk? This sounded a lot like some First Take ESPN old media coming out of Draymond, bro. What's that about?
Draymond is just funny because Draymond talks like he's not Draymond sometimes. Like even when he was talking about like the Patrick Beverly stuff, and I was just like, what you're saying is not wrong, but like, why are you saying that?
Yeah,
like, you're
I
not
wish you would live what you're saying, bro. Your team could have used you for all them games that you got suspended for doing the same type of foolishness.
You shouldn't be the spokesperson of this topic, right? You're not saying nothing wrong, but like you should not be the guy saying it. So Draymond's funny, man. But Draymond is very, very smart. Draymond knows what he's doing. He knows he knows exactly what he's trying to accomplish here.
100%. With that though, let's go ahead and dive right into this Denver Minnesota series. I made a whole video about Game 5 and Game 6, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on it because I really want to get your thoughts on it. But obviously, we recorded after Game 3 or 4. I think we recorded after Game 2. I think we recorded on the night of Game 3, and we both felt that this series was all but wrapped up in Minnesota's favor. And the Nuggets rattled 2 off in a row in Minnesota, go back to Denver. Now, obviously, like we just talked about in Game 5, Jokic has what I think was the best game of his playoff career.
Easily.
Complete domination at all 3 levels, 40 points. I think it was 12 or 13 rebounds, or 12 or 13 assists, 7 rebounds, no turnovers, like a perfect game. That's one of the games where I genuinely think back to all the generational big man defenders that we had. I even saw OG from TikTok was talking about it. Like he was like, bro, Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, like all of them would have got feasted on that night.
Every single person. Like, there's nobody on the planet of history that would have stopped Jokic that night.
Right. Y'all need to really understand how absurd his offense was. And going into then an elimination game back in Minnesota, they responded in the biggest way possible. And I mentioned in my video that what I love the most about what they did is that they just made a decision and a choice to be like, look, anybody but Jokic. They're showing him bodies. They're double teaming him from multiple different angles. They're doubling him on the catch. Sometimes they let him get a bump down in the post, and then a second body comes. I saw them try to blitz and trap him off the ball on the perimeter when he's kind of just trying to do those DHOs. They got a couple of steals off of them just trying to get set up into their offense. They're just trying to speed up his game or just get the ball out of his hands. And in a series where MPJ has shot really badly, Jamal Murray's been really up and down. They just dared those guys to make shots. And when they didn't, it was off to the races every single time in transition. And they got out to on a 20-0 run, I think, at one point in the first quarter. They jumped up to, I think, almost a 50-point lead. Mike Malone pulled the starters with like 10 or 9 minutes left in the fourth. And here we are, Game 7 tomorrow night in Minnesota. So how are you feeling coming out of Game 6? What did you like or didn't like on either side in Game 6? And how are you feeling going into Game 7 in this heavyweight bout of a playoff series?
Nah, I liked a lot what I've seen from Minnesota, man. I like you said, their adjustment of just saying, look, we're not gonna let Jokic do that again. We're not gonna let him. We're not gonna let him absolutely destroy us on his own.
Not to cut you off, but do you know that Game 5 was the first time he scored 40 points in a playoff game and they won?
Yeah, because every other time it's out of necessity. Like, look, all right, fine, no one got it going. I guess I'll just keep scoring. Yeah. Or they do that. Like, I hate when people say like they let Jokic score. You don't let Jokic score, but it's like you live with him scoring. That's the way people should word it. I hate when they just be like, yeah, the game plan is to let Jokic score. No, because if you let him score, he'll score 100. So but yeah, this is the first time like legitimately he just like he was just in full control, bro. Like it wasn't out of a little bit out of necessity, like, but I think he just made it a point. Like, look, it's not gonna be we're gonna try to get everyone open first or get everyone going first. It's like, no, we're gonna be aggressive from the jump, and we're gonna win the game that way. But I like what Minnesota did as far as just like doubling them, saying like, look, anybody else but Jokic is gonna beat us tonight, and it ended up working. You know what I mean? They didn't really have it going. I don't know what Denver shot, but it wasn't that good. I know that for a fact. No one else really got it going. From the Denver side, it's the biggest thing too, I would say as well, besides the fact that obviously, Jamal Murray has to get it going. Michael Porter Jr. has to get it going. Those guys have struggled. They also got basically nothing most of the game from their bench. Like their bench gave them absolutely nothing. I think their first bench point, I remember it was a Christian Braun dunk.
Yeah.
I forgot. I don't know if it was in the third or like the early fourth. I forgot what it was, but they got nothing from their bench. They just didn't get anything else from anybody. So they couldn't really get anything going. Like I said, Minnesota basically used that good defense to go out and transition, run a little bit, use that athleticism to kind of, get it going for him. Anthony Edwards, he does his thing. So I just like the overall game plan that they came in with, which makes Game 7 even more interesting because now you get to see how Denver is going to respond because I'm pretty sure, Minnesota's going to make a little bit of adjustments here and there, but it's easier to make adjustments after you lose and you're adjusting to someone else's adjustment versus like preparing for, all right, what is Mike Malone going to do now to combat us, making anyone else but Jokic beat us. So that makes Game 7 a little bit more interesting. And I also think that puts Game 7 in the Nuggets' favor a little bit. Obviously, they're already at home. They already have like the best player in the series, even though Anthony Edwards is playing great. But the fact that they're coming off of a loss, I feel like helps them more. Because like I said, they can actually make the adjustment now, and Minnesota's going to have to react off that. So I think overall it's going to be a great Game 7. Minnesota's defense is going to have to still be elite if they want to win this game. Denver's going to have to find a way to, Jokic is going to do his thing, but these other guys have to step up. Like Jamal Murray has to get in rhythm. He has to get it going at least a little bit, or you just need to get something from someone else. Especially if your bench is going to be like you don't know what you're going to get from the bench at this point. Like it could be get good production, it could be absolutely nothing. So you don't really know. So instead of that, relying on that, you got to have at least one of Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr. have to get it going. Preferably Jamal Murray, because once he has it going, it makes him even more unguardable, I should say. So I'm just excited. I'm just excited to see what adjustments coaching-wise both teams really make, and see, everybody's going to have to bring their A game. You know what I mean? Like Denver, obviously, they're still favored because they're at home. So Minnesota's going to have to go in there and win again, which is tough because if they win this game, that means they beat Denver 3 times on their home court, which is very, very tough, and it would be very, very impressive. But hey, nobody expected them to win the first 2 at home or on the road, I should say. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they go in there in Denver and win in 7. But I think personally, if I'm making my pick, at the beginning of the series, I said Nuggets in 7 anyways. So I'm not going to switch up now. So I guess if I had to pick one right now, I think Nuggets pull it off.
I agree. And that's what I said in my video, but it's really like it feels so much like a toss-up. It's hard to really pick one way or the other, and I feel like I'm taking the cop-out answer. Because I also said Nuggets in 7 coming into the series, but also like just viewing this game by itself, I almost feel like I picked the Nuggets because like it's Jokic, it's the best player in the world. They're at home. I'm just gonna you just side with that because
and that's not bad.
That might be the little bit to take them over the edge. But you said it perfectly. Like I think I said this too in the video I posted. Like there's not a world where I see the Nuggets being able to win this game if that's the performance that they get from MPJ and Jamal Murray, like they got in Game 6. If they come out in Game 7 the same way, the Nuggets will be going home. One or the two, preferably both of them, need to get going a little bit. I agree with you that if it's Jamal, it opens up so much more of their offense because of the dynamic 2-man game that him and Jokic can get going. Because Jokic is going to get his regardless. Because so many of his shots are coming, high quality looks under the rim, and he's always going to get other guys involved. Jamal Murray needs to knock down. And a lot of the looks that he had were looks that we see him make when he gets going. He just has been so up and down. I think another thing that's important here is they're going to be coming off 3 days rest. So obviously he's got the calf thing that's been bugging him. So that extra day of rest might play into a factor. I think the last time they came off of 3 days of rest was Game 4, where he had a big game, if I remember correctly, Game 3 or 4. Or it had been Game 3 because they had the big rest.
It was 3.
Yeah, they had the big rest going from Denver to Minnesota. He had a huge Game 3, so that extra rest could play a big factor in this one. If I have to pick, if I got to put a bet on it, I would bet on the Nuggets, but I'm expecting this to be, as much as this series has been so back and forth, and I've described it already as like a heavyweight fight because it feels like their teams are just throwing haymakers and responding. Like there hasn't really been a ton of close games. Like you have a lot of blowouts almost. I think this one is going to be really tight down to the wire. I think even Anthony Edwards says it's going to be one of the best Game 7s that we've ever seen. So they're anticipating for it to be a dogfight. I think it's going to be that. I think that I don't think there's a way where MPJ and Jamal Murray both play this bad, I think at least one of them is going to get off. Like you said, preferably for the Nuggets' sake, if it's Jamal, I like their chances a lot more just because of how dynamic that opens up their offense to be. But if I'm Minnesota, I'm sticking with the exact same game plan, bro. Jokic doesn't see single coverage unless it's the last option. Anybody else gonna have to beat us.
Did you see the picture of Jokic standing in, bro? I'm not gonna lie. This man might go 60, 30, and 20, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Bro, listen. Have we ever seen Game 7 Jokic? Ever? Oh, well, technically, when they came back in the bubble against the Clippers, but that was like Jokic was still great, but like he wasn't
since he's been solidified best in the world. No, because they had the run where they lost in 2022 to the Warriors. I don't think they had no Game 7s there, and they didn't have any Game 7s in their championship run last year.
Mm-hmm. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just think that we talked about it, right? Best player in the world who's capable of taking over games and really locking in and having those like all-time type performances. Bro, something about the way bro was standing the whole fourth, just like mean mugging, like, all right, but you know what I'm saying? This is somebody said he stood like, all right, finally a worthy opponent type of stance, which is true because it's like, okay, they're challenging me, like we can actually possibly lose this. I think like at home, I think he absolutely goes off, bro. Unless it's a game where it's like Jamal Murray is like against the Lakers, Jamal Murray has it going where Jokic could kind of play his normal, get everybody involved type of thing. I think regardless though, he's not gonna go down. Like I guarantee you, we don't see a stinker, and I don't think we see a Jokic like look at the stat like, okay, that's a normal Jokic game. I think regardless win or lose, he's going to go absolutely off. So, and like you said, I think picking the best player in the world at home in a Game 7 is far from a bad strategy. You know what I mean? A bad analysis. If that's your only analysis is the reason why you picked them, that's perfectly fine because it's warranted. You know what I mean? So I think I'm rooting for the Timberwolves. I'm gonna be honest. I do want to see the Timberwolves win. I like Anthony Edwards. I think he's cut from that same cloth. Obviously not as good as Jokic, but I think he's also capable of having a huge Game 7, even if it's on the road. I think he's built like that, and I would love to see like a Minnesota go further in the playoffs. But I mean, if I'm a betting man, bro, I think Denver, pulls this one off.
Yeah, I agree. Either way, I'm scheduling out my day to be in here on playback, watching that live. Like I'm going to a UFL game probably during the back half of Knicks Pacers. I'm gonna be like in the game on my phone like this, trying to watch both. But I'm back in the crib by like 6:45, ready for the 7 o'clock tip off. Like I'm going to be locked in, like I'm a Timberwolves or a Nuggets fan. I got no dog in this fight. I'm just here for good hoops and vibes. Crack me a couple beers or something. We just gonna vibe out.
I might not even have a drink or two because I've been falling asleep in some of this second half of some of these games. So I might just be locked. I might take a Red Bull. That's what I
might have to throw a coffee or something in the middle.
Yeah, bro. If I'm taking a drink, it might be a Henny and Red Bull or something to get me wired a little bit. But I'm not missing this I'm not missing this one. You can't miss this one.
Yeah, that's the one. This is to me, this is the NBA Finals. This is Game 7.
Yeah.
Winner you might as well give them the trophy, man. I don't care what the Celtics do.
It's a possibility for sure. It's a possibility.
Speaking of the Celtics, they are awaiting who they will be playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're obviously the only team to advance to the conference finals. We can get through their series real quick. They gentlemen sweep the Cavs in 5. No Donovan Mitchell in games 4 and 5 for Cleveland. I think the biggest takeaway of this series for Cleveland, obviously, health. They got hit with the injury bug at the worst time. No Jarrett Allen, I think, this entire series. Mm-hmm. No, like I said, Donovan Mitchell for those last 2 games. Darius Garland had small flashes of what we were hoping to see from him, but throughout the entirety of the series, he was not the Darius Garland we were hoping and expecting to see. Obviously, the jaw injury, I think people are reporting on it now that he had to like eat out of a tube for like 6 weeks or something like that because He had fractured his jaw, so he felt weaker. He never really felt like himself. So all that should be taken with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, he's a young player. But to be glass half full type of guy, Evan Mobley, I think, had a great playoff series. The scoring jump from him was very noticeable. And I think bigger than anything, if I'm Cleveland, it gives me – I feel like we've reached a point where we can move on from Jarrett Allen pretty comfortably and feel like we could have Evan Mobley run that 5 full-time. And I liked what I saw from him defensively, obviously, but the jump offensively was huge in this series. And for the Celtics, without Porzingis, it didn't matter. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown definitely picked it up in this series after Derek White carried the torch for them in that series against the Heat. And they're cooling. They're chilling in their series. You got anything to say about the Celtics and Cavs before we get to talk through the Knicks and Pacers Game 7?
No, not really. I mean, like I said, I did like the offensive jump you seen from Evan Mobley. That was very promising to see in a series that was, you get, like I said, you got injured, so it's nothing you could really take from it besides that, really. So it's not really from that aspect. And for the Celtics, I mean, I expected them to win. I expected them to win this, regardless of whether Donovan Mitchell or all those guys are here or not. So it's nothing you can really say in that series. I feel like their playoffs really starts in the next series.
Yeah. So they are awaiting the winner of the first Game 7 tomorrow, which is Knicks Pacers. Like you said, it's going to be Game 7 in the Garden. 2 iconic franchises who have historically bad blood between the two of them.
Is Reggie Miller calling this game?
No, I just looked. It's an ESPN game. If it was a TNT game, boy, they would be firing them up in the Garden.
For
real. But yeah, coming off of Game 6, which I had to go watch at a bar because I didn't have no Wi-Fi at my crib for 3 days. So appreciate you, AT&T, for coming up clutch there. Ridiculous. The Pacers came out and they kind of took a page out of the Knicks playbook. They felt like they were playing with more intensity and pace and physicality, which was surprising to see. Siakam, I think, had a really good start to this game. They got out to a pretty sizable lead. Brunson struggled heavily. I know he finished with 31, but he finished with 31 on 26 shots.
It didn't look like it.
Yeah, that ain't good. Yeah, we're going to a Game 7 in this series. The Pacers won both the total rebounding battle and the offensive rebounding battle, which is definitely rare for them in this series. So they got after it. Obviously, probably the biggest storyline going into Game 7 is Josh Hart's health. I think they said he's officially pulled like an ab muscle in that game. He was still trying to play through it, which is crazy. But obviously, it reached a point where it just got too much for him, and he had to get subbed out. So his status for Game 7 is questionable. On the flip side, OG's status is questionable, which is up because he's been basically certified to be out every other game in this series. So he potentially could come back tomorrow. So, you lose Josh Hart, you maybe can get back OG. We'll see. Without either of them, at this point, like you got to be scared for the Knicks. I understand Brunson has Superman moments. They're going to be in the Garden, and DiVincenzo and Deuce McBride, like they've been hooping, but man, that bench is getting thinner and thinner by the day.
For
real. I'm just like, we're starting to see Jericho Sims minutes, bro. They're running out of bodies in New York.
Getting bad. They about to start pulling people off the street, bro. Like, yo, can you give me 30 tonight? Can you give me 30 minutes?
Bro, in New York, you might mess around and find somebody who can be somewhat serviceable.
They're gonna get some crackhead off the street that's just got a bunch of energy. It was like, bro, I just need you to fill the Josh Hart role, bro. Hustle, rebound.
So I'm gonna ask you first. Who are you picking going into this series, knowing what the Knicks injuries, going into Game 7, knowing the Knicks injury situation right now?
Coming off a loss, potentially no Josh Hart, man. Potentially still no OG Anunoby. Body's running thin. Give me the Knicks still, man.
I was about to say the same
Give me the Knicks,
thing.
man. Give me the Knicks, man. Give me still a Knicks tape, bro. Still a Knicks tape. Give me the Knicks, man. I still think they'll pull through out there. And they're in the Garden. I think that the Pacers play way better at home. I think they play with more
100%.
physicality at home. They hustle more at home. They play better defense when they're at home. Like you said, they really made it a point to like, look, we're gonna make sure that they're not gonna kill us on the glass. And like they look like they actually made it a point to, offensive rebound, just rebound in general, get out, run, do what they do. But it being in the Garden obviously is a plus for the Knicks. I don't think Jalen Brunson. I mean, he ended up with not a stinker, quote unquote, but like he didn't play good.
Stinker bad.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Like I'm just saying, like he ended with 31 points, but looking at it or watching the game, like he didn't play good. So I don't think he has two of those games back to back, which is a plus for the Knicks. Even though they got a lot of injuries, I mean they've been stepping it up. Like Deuce Bride has been giving them excellent minutes. Like this guy, he was playing great.
Looks like I really can't believe that I feel like he stepped into the Quentin Grimes role in those minutes and is like so far exceeded. And I thought Quentin Grimes was great on the Knicks. He's like so far exceeded that role already. His contract is looking like one of the best in the NBA at this point.
Exactly. So he's stepping up, giving them great minutes. Donte DiVincenzo, obviously, he struggled. I believe it wasn't the last game. He actually played a little, stepped it up a little bit. The games before that, I think he was playing bad, shooting pretty bad. But hopefully you get a good performance out of him. But honestly, man, I just think at home, that Garden crowd is going to be insane for a Game 7. I think if Jalen Brunson, which I think he will, has like a typical Jalen Brunson efficient 40 ball type of game where I think he definitely will have that type of game, I still ride with the Knicks. I still think that they'll be able to pull it out at home. If it's no Josh Hart, no OG, it would be tough. I'm not gonna lie, it would be tough. But getting at least one of those guys back makes me more confident. If they get both, I'm very confident. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens as far as the injury department. But regardless, I think I'm riding with the Knicks.
I agree. I'm taking the Knicks. Hell or high water. If it's 5 bodies on the floor,
they playing all 48.
They gonna play their hearts out. And I just think the moment I think is really gonna set in. I think the city is gonna be just on one. They are gonna be on one, and they're gonna realize like, we can get to the conference finals for the first time in a very long time. Mm-hmm. And I think, like you mentioned, Jalen Brunson is going to rise to the occasion. I would expect him to have the superhero type of performance that we've seen from him, all playoffs. And one of the others is going to step up, whether that's Deuce, whether that's Donte. If Josh or OG can play, we know what we're getting from them if they can play. I think Precious Achiuwa has also played, very, very well in the minutes that he's gotten in this series, backing up. That's true. Hartenstein, Achiuwa wasn't even a guy who was expected to get a ton of burn. Obviously now with Mitchell Robinson now, like he's just next man up mentality, but I just don't think the Pacers are going to be ready for what's about to, like what that environment is going to be like in the Garden. It's going to be crazy. Siakam has been so up and down this series. And honestly, I would say it's been more down, especially coming out of like the Bucks series. He looked really good against Milwaukee, but he struggled a bunch against New York. I just think a lot has to go very, very right for Indiana to win this Game 7. And if it's murky, scrappy, close at all, man, give me the Knicks. Give me the Knicks. It's the energy being at home and just the identity of that team being as scrappy as they are, getting this close to getting over that hurdle to get back into a conference finals. I think they're going to be able to pull it off. I think Brunson will lead them there. So I am going to be taking the Knicks as well.
I will say for the Pacers, if y'all are going to win, Tyrese Halliburton has to be elite.
It needs to be a duel. Whatever, even if they lose, this needs to be a game where Tyrese goes in and understands, like, if we want to have a chance to make And on the flip side, like this Indian and going into the season, even going into this playoff, I don't think anybody had any business picking the Indiana Pacers to be a team that could potentially make the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's true.
Off the bat, you immediately are like, they're getting bounced out by Philly or Milwaukee or Boston or New York. They're behind one of those four. So the fact that they are even in a position to potentially be in the Eastern Conference Finals, like Haliburton needs to go into this game and seize that moment and understand, like, look, I know he's the guy that wants to push the pace and do the modern day Steve Nash 7 seconds or less and get the ball up and moving, like not tomorrow night, or I guess tomorrow afternoon. You need to come up and you need to get aggressive, bro, because a lot of times you can get your shot off. As funky janky as that release is, you can get that shot off at a very high clip. You need to start letting that fly more often, like you did in game. What was it whatever the one that they're calling the Mother's Day Massacre? Was that game 5, right? Or game 4? Game 4.
It was game 4.
Yeah, where he was letting it go. That's the Tyrese Haliburton needs to show up in game 7 if the Pacers want to have a chance to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. And let's just say in a hypothetical world that they do. I was actually listening to numbers on the board earlier, and they compared if they were able to make the Eastern Conference Finals to when the Hawks did it, how it would be that type of like perfect storm of, you played a couple teams that were injured and you got there, and that it might give the front office fool's gold, thinking that they're closer to being ready to contend than they actually are. So
that's true.
I will say, regardless of the outcome, I do need Pacers to be real with themselves and understand that at the end of the day, yes, you play whatever team is put in front of you. But if the team in the first round was put in front of you had Giannis, you would be at the crib.
Facts.
So
and operate as such when it comes to this offseason and moving.
Please do, because y'all are not one move away.
Well, yeah, we're close. We made it because you're always gonna. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals though. But it's like,
and look, I've been the victim of that too. When coming off of that Hawks series, I'm like, man, they was right there.
I was too.
Right there. But like,
theirs felt a little less fluky. I mean, who was really hurt when they made that run though? Like, I mean, Embiid was like, he still played. Every postseason.
They benefited more so not from an injury, but really like a full-on mental collapse from the Philadelphia 76ers. Like, we watched Ben Simmons get this close to the rim and pass the ball, bro. Like they got, I hate to say lucky, but it's hard to almost put in a different term, but they kind of got lucky in a different way. But yeah, it would feel eerily similar to that because, like, again, on paper, going into next season, win or lose this game 7, like I still wouldn't put Indiana in the top 4 out east, let alone anything out west. So it's like y'all are further away regardless of what happens. So, like, look, at the end of the day, like I said, you play whatever's put in front of you. You're about to go in front of a Knicks team that is decimated by injuries right now, which might put y'all in the position to get to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics. Y'all definitely gonna get belt to ass in that game, but it's
Facts.
You know what I mean.
Y'all gonna get worked. Oh my god.
But look, just understand that it could have gone very differently for y'all. So take it. I hope the fans are excited, but there's more work to be done than just trying to make that all-in move, trade 3 first-round picks for DeJounte Murray type of deal. And now y'all have the number 1 overall pick.
Listen, man, Tyrese, just shoot the ball, bro. I don't need kickouts to Aaron Nesmith, bro. Shoot the ball. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, he's got to get aggressive. Last series that we haven't talked about, which is tipping off in 45 minutes or so, is Game 6 of Mavericks Thunder. Coming out of Game 5 in this one, Luka Doncic had a phenomenal performance. 31 points on 12 of 22 from the field to go along with 10 rebounds and 11 assists. This I think was the best game that he's played this series. He looked very in control from start to finish on the offensive side of the things. PJ Washington, man is turning into freaking prime Clay or something, bro.
For real.
He take the defense out of it, because him and Derrick Jones and Gafford and Lively and Josh Green, like they are locked in as a defensive unit. And PJ Washington is a big reason why they're up in this series defensively, but offensively, and it's not even, they're not running plays for him. He's literally just, he's the guy, right? He the guy on the prime team, bro. He brought his corner build out. He just ready for the dot if it ever comes.
He green every time. You know you hit his green.
He's knocking it down. So yeah, have to tip my cap to PJ Washington. He's been incredible in this one. Gafford and Lively have been unstoppable at the rim. I did hear people say that they feel like, oh my gosh, I can't remember who said it. It was it was the Deep Three podcast. I think it was Isaac. He said that he was a little bit disappointed in the Thunder for not making a more all-in move at the deadline. Obviously, they made the Gordon Hayward trade, but he's not even a factor in this series. When we knew what their weaknesses were coming into this series, which is the lack of size, which led to lack of presence on the inside, lack of rebounding. Outside of Chet, they have no rim protection. And that's what's really been one of the big differences in the series is Gafford and Lively can bully them. There's nothing they can do to really stop these lobs at the rim, especially if Chet isn't in the game. And they didn't do anything to address that. And it's like, this is a season now where they ended up with the 1 seed out west, and now their backs are against the wall, and they have to go to Dallas for Game 6 tonight, and potentially could have their season ended here. So how are you feeling about the Thunder's chances in this one to potentially force a Game 7 back in Oklahoma City?
I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest, man. Mm-hmm. I just think I'm riding with the Mavs, man. I just think that like the way they're playing defensively, they're playing great. Obviously, you touched on PJ Washington, how he's just playing fantastic, knocking down shots. Yeah, it's just they're getting killed in the paint. These big men, like I said, they're having a field day with the Thunder, which I kind of get what you're saying as far as like surprised they didn't make a move, because in reality, yes, you're a super young team, but you're winning now. Like you're the 1 seed, and how many times do we talk about it? Like let's just say they win the next 2 games, they win this series, and let's just say it's matter of fact, don't even matter who wins between the Timberwolves or the Nuggets. You're small compared to both of those teams. You know what I mean? Like the top teams are bigger, especially when you talk about a guy like Jokic, who is the best player in the world, and that's the center, and he would absolutely feast against y'all. So it's a little bit interesting. I like I said, they're a young team, but you're winning now, so I feel like making a move to kind of improve that aspect would have been better for you. But I mean, obviously, it's too late now. So realistically, I'm just looking at the Thunder. I just think, even though they're the 1 seed, even though they had a fantastic season and they have a superstar in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who's playing great, I also just think it's just not their time yet. That's kind of the reason why, to me, I picked the Mavs in the beginning, just because I feel like it's really steps to this process. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we talked about it. Don't get me wrong. They could have been the first. Actually, no, weren't they the first, like, or the youngest team to win round 2 game? It was some stat that was
something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like you could make history, but it's very, very unlikely, especially when you have a guy on the other side in Luka Doncic. You're going against a Kyrie Irving. You're going against a Mavericks team who has a great defense. So to me, it's a little bit tough. I think that the Mavs definitely close it out tonight. I think Luka has another fantastic game, because you don't want to lose this one at home and then have to go to a Game 7 in OKC. That would be tough, even though you can win there. But it's like, why even put yourself in that predicament?
That crowd, you remember how they used to be with KD and Russ back in the day? That crowd is going to be jumping. Oh my gosh, if they can get to a Game 7.
Yeah. So if you're the Mavs, you don't want to do it. That's why I feel like a guy like Luka is going to come out. He's going to play a typical Luka game, and they're going to close it out tonight. But like I said, yeah, with the Thunder, I mean, I don't like their chances in this series, but I guess the glass half full, I should say. You're still a young team. You know what I mean? It's steps to everything. It's a process. You still got like a guy like J-Dub who's going to keep improving every single year.
Got a gajillion draft picks sitting on too.
You got a bunch. So if you really want to make that, all in big time move, you're probably in a position to do it, really. So we'll see what happens. But I do think the Mavs definitely close it out tonight. I don't think OKC forces a game 7.
Yeah, the Mavericks also going back to the defense, especially with Lively and Gafford and PJ. They've been doing a great job of just packing up the paint against Shea and really just leaving guys like Lou Dort, Chet, even J-Dub a lot of times open for three. This is unfortunately, and I said people did it to Paolo early in the first round. They did it, last year to guys. People are already like, oh, gotta have a conversation about J-Dub. Like this isn't his first playoff run ever as a second-year player.
Right. What are we talking about?
But it is not his best playoff series for sure. Not his best performances as an NBA player. He's definitely struggled. He lived a lot in the regular season with making shots at a really, really high efficiency that has not traveled into this series. He's struggled a bunch putting it on the deck. He's turned down shots that I think we've seen him take a lot more in the regular season, which is tough because the Thunder, I think, desperately needs somebody else to step up, especially with how unplayable Josh Giddey is at this point. My gosh, I can't believe it took this long for them to bench him. Like,
yeah,
Mark Daigneault was crazy. What I saw in game, I think it was game 3 or 4, he had multiple bad games. I think I vividly remember he was really bad in game 2. I think
it was 2.
Yeah, and then they started him again in game 3, and he started out the game. He bricked a floater, then he turned the ball over, then he missed a layup, and he fouled somebody all within like 2 minutes. And I was like, "Yo, if you do not get Josh Giddey off of my TV right now, if I was a Thunder fan, I would be blowing a gasket." But again, as bad as he's been, like they've been desperate to try to find some other scoring punch. Even Isaiah Joe has been struggling from 3, which is crazy because in the regular season, he was historically one of the best 3-point shooters, not just in the league, but this team, I think, actually had the highest 3-point percentage of all time.
It was insane. But that was people's argument against him, though. They was like, I don't know how sustainable the shooting is because, like, everybody was sparking it all season. So I feel
it feels like they are regressing to a much more reasonable state, which puts them in a position where if they're not knocking down a bunch of shots, they're not getting second chance points because they're going to lose that rebounding battle every single time. Even with Chet on the floor, sometimes it feels like it doesn't matter. They can't really stop some of these lob passes at the rim. And again, if you want to be a glass half full guy, on top of how good Luka has been and PJ has been, the defense has been, this is a real down series for Kyrie. We ain't had a real explosive Kyrie performance. That feels like that's bound to happen at some point.
Yeah.
If that happens tonight, Oklahoma City will be up out of there. So again, if I have to pick, I feel like I'm a little bit leaning towards the Mavericks closing it out in this one. If it goes to game 7, I will be taking the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm just letting that be known now because I just think that arena is going to be going crazy. Shea in a winner-go-home situation. They always say role players play better at home. I think you're going to get a step up out of Isaiah Joe or Aaron Wiggins or even Cason Wallace, who, credit to him, he's been great as a rookie in this series, stepping up, making some shots in some of these games, and obviously the defensive presence that he can bring as well. I think that the Mavericks, I'm expecting them to close it out tonight, but at the same time, they should feel some internal pressure that, like you said, they don't want to go back to OKC for game 7 because that crowd is going to be on one, bro. That crowd is going to be on one. And genuinely, I wouldn't want to see Shea in a win or go home situation.
That's true. That's true. I don't see them winning this game, but I guess if we're playing a hypotheticals and they do win, I got to see how it plays out. I think I still want to ride. I mean, my pick was Mavs in 7 in this series, to be honest with you.
I had the Thunder. I think I had the Thunder in 6 or 7. I don't remember. I
Okay.
have it down somewhere, but it definitely was Thunder in 6 or 7. And I had them
Okay.
against the Nuggets in the Western Conference Final. So
Okay.
it's not over. Like I said, I think it's very doable. I'm not like so sold on the Mavericks just going and
It's
closing
not
it
a
out
lot.
tonight, but
Yeah.
I definitely think they should feel some pressure to want to get it done tonight.
I feel you. I definitely feel you. So that makes sense. Like I said, yeah, it's definitely not a lock them losing this game tonight. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and that one is about 20-ish minutes away from tip-off. To close out the show today, do want to talk through some of the most memorable playoff moments so far, and then I think have a little different game that we're going to play than we have before. But before we get there, I want to go through these memorable moments because even though we've only gone through the first 2 rounds of playoffs, I think so much wild stuff already has happened. And I have a couple of them written down. I just want to bounce back and forth and reminisce might not even be the right word because it's only been like the last month, but a lot of wild stuff has happened. Like obviously I mentioned already, but Jamal Murray throwing a heat pack onto the court. Crazy, bro. That's wild.
That's insane.
Patrick Beverly threw a ball at a fan and hit her in the head and then said, yo, let me see that back. Oh, appreciate you. Thank you. Like, that is wild, bro.
I feel like that's not like it's not talked about as that's really crazy, bro.
That's
like
how
that's
the fact
insane.
that he's like he got like a 4-game suspension is crazy.
Bro, that could have started something insane, like a
Literally could have been
brawl.
Malice in the Palace 2.0.
Yeah, like just throw a ball. Like if that's a fan, that's like a crash out. Like, bro, that's
it'd have been up for him, bro. He was getting swung on,
bro. It's not getting talked about as like as crazy as the situation really is, bro. So that was wild. That was a wild moment for sure.
Yeah, because even like if you rewatch the Malice in the Palace, like Ron Artest had to jump up mad rows to go to the fan that he started swinging on. Buddy hit with the face of the ball was like 1 row behind the bench. If he really wanted to, like he about 2 steps and could have just swung.
Word, for real, you're not wrong.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing though. He did that in Indiana. He ain't doing that in some of these other cities. I would bet. I bet good money he not doing that in some of these other cities. He ain't doing it in Detroit.
You doing Detroit might be over for you, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Malice in the Palace starts part 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I feel you. It's definitely a lot of memorable moments. I think to me, the first one I think of is definitely Anthony Edwards and the KD one. I like that one a lot. When he's like,
that's not even the first Anthony Edwards moment that comes to my mind. I immediately
that one too.
That one's gotta be up there, bro.
That one too. That one was crazy. I just think like looking back, like when you look back, especially if they go on to like win the finals or whatever, even if they make like they win this series and go a little bit longer, like looking back at that, and especially if Anthony Edwards goes on and has like a great career, things of that nature, that's gonna be like a passing of the torch type of moment, and more like a change of eras. I won't say because like KD don't got the torch. I'm gonna be honest with you, you don't got the torch, but
definitely not.
But it's gonna be more.
He might never had
it. I don't think he did, but that's a conversation for another day. But it's more like a changing of eras type of thing where it's like, nah, he's going at you. He did, bro. You're his favorite player, but he's going at you right now and he's letting you hear about it. So to me, I think that was a very memorable moment. Obviously, it kind of goes into the whole that Anthony Edwards moment because Suns getting bounced, getting swept. Then you got a 22-year-old out here just disrespecting your eyes. It's kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of wild. So that those two kind of tie in together for me.
Yeah, I gotta choose my words real carefully with this next moment, but definitely one that I don't think we talked about was Luka in his press conference mid question. Somebody ain't closed their tabs out from the night before connected to the Bluetooth speaker. Or wow.
Started going crazy. That was that's a memorable moment for sure.
Yo, that's a memorable moment. Please, somebody had to do an investigation and figure out what happened there, bro. Whose phone and why are you connecting to the speaker with that, bro?
Insane, bro.
Out
It
of
was like a
pocket.
prank almost. You know what I mean?
I thought it was fake at first. I had to go literally find like another account posting it. And then I seen like big like accounts like the NBA Central posted. I'm like, nah, there's no way this is for real, bro. Somebody
Insane.
playing the spicy clips. Out
Wow.
of pocket, bro. Out of pocket.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of any more like super memorable moments of this playoff. I'm even trying to think back to like other series of teams that
Yeah.
got eliminated.
I think Dame dropping what do you have 35 in the first half. That was crazy. Didn't score
And
again.
then 0. Like what? How do you go from 35 and then 0 in the second half? What we doing?
Imagine you had like Dame over 35 and a half. You're like, oh, let's go to cash it, baby. Like,
I remember now he's doing out. The FanDuel made the call, bro. Like they made the call.
100%.
They made the call. It's like, bro, chill out. Chill out. But I think that you know what? I think a memorable moment is Tyrese Maxey. I don't remember which game it was, but obviously it was the game where he sent it to overtime with the crazy logo 3.
Logo buzzer beater.
And then just took over in the fourth quarter in overtime because he hit the 4-point play. He hit that one. Then off the screen, just like pulled up from the logo. It was cash. And that was a game where like it was over. Like that game was lost. Like I easily thought like, all right, yeah, the next one is when we on to the next. Bro said, nah, we're not losing this one. Kind of it took over. That was definitely when Embiid was definitely more hobbled too, because he didn't really have a great game. So he kind of took over. So I think that was especially for him specifically, that was a huge playoff moment from this year.
Yeah, no, Tyrese Maxey really like stamped himself as like, and he's been doing it all season, but to go and do it in the playoffs obviously means a little bit more.
Right.
I really think he could be a lead guard. Like, forget Joel. If that team didn't have Joel on it, I think with some more complementary pieces, like the Sixers could be a legit playoff team. I'm not saying they'd be a contender, but Maxey's just that good, bro.
I think he's on that trajectory for sure, because we've seen when Joel went out this year, they were like plummeted as far as like in the standing.
Right.
But if we're going off trajectory, like what he could be for sure, and the promise that he showed, like absolutely, because we even said it, like we were confident in Maxey coming into this playoffs when we've never even seen him as a number 2 before, and he completely showed me like, yeah, he's fully capable of being a number 2. That's no question. So he's a guy that's improving year to year to year. So I could definitely see that for sure. I had one in my head. What was it? Oh, bro, the greatest defensive game I've ever seen in my life.
It's
like
swarming.
Bro, I remember watching that Timberwolves game. That was game 2, right? I'm pretty sure it was game 2. I remember
Rudy.
I remember standing up and I was just like in awe of like I'm watching them really swarm everything. I'm like, bro, by far, to my memory, the absolute best defensive performance I've seen in my entire life. And it's just the fact that in situation as well, in the playoffs, on the road, to go up 2-0 on the road against the defending champs and the best player in the world. And y'all got these dudes looking like you're playing the Pistons. Like, it was
crazy,
by far the best defensive performance ever. It was insane seeing that. So I think that game as a whole, was that the throw the towel? That was a throw the towel game, right? Or am I bugging? Or the Heat pack?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because we talked about the Heat pack, but like the game itself as well was also a crazy, like memorable moment.
Yeah.
Especially, like I said, everything is even going to get even more heightened with like the Timberwolves or the Nuggets if they go on to win the finals.
I think another one too has to be Game 6 of Cavs Magic. Donovan Mitchell go off for 50. He can't get nobody else on his team to help him out.
Bro, this man scored every single point in the fourth quarter, bro. Every single point. Bro, listen, Donovan Mitchell. Can I ask you a question? Who do you think is better, Donovan Mitchell or Jalen Brunson? Because I see people talk about that before. Just off of this. I don't even think there's a wrong answer. I'm just genuinely curious.
The fact that it's a conversation, I have to say, is that is all credit to Brunson and what he's done this playoff run.
Facts.
I'm really trying not to be recency bias. Recency bias really changed my answer. I think I would maybe give a slight edge to Donovan Mitchell, but it is like you said, I don't think it's a wrong answer at this point. It's right there. But like I said, Donovan Mitchell, bro, we see him. He was going shot for shot in the bubble with Jamal Murray.
Dropping
Like
50 points, bro.
we talked about Jamal Murray is the Michael Jordan of playoff risers. Like so,
Yeah. Donovan Mitchell's right there.
Yeah.
He's right there, man. But I only said it because I've seen people debate that. Which I like I said, I just think that I don't. If you said Jalen Brunson beat Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs. Like they beat him. So if you can have a case there, but Donovan Mitchell's been doing it for a while. I was just kind of curious because both of them are elite. But I do think it's definitely credit to Jalen Brunson the way he's been playing in this playoffs because I don't think you have that conversation last year or obviously not the year before that. So, but it's the fact that he couldn't get anybody else to score a bucket in the fourth quarter is ridiculous.
Wild, bro. It's actually crazy. With that though, we're gonna get to the very last part of the show as we're winding down right before tip off. Little game here for the Instagram, TikTok shorts, which again I'm gonna shout it out here. If you're not following already on the Instagram, please do. Just hit 600. I said it before. We're trying to hit 1,000 before the end of the NBA Finals. So we got like a month or so, a little bit over a month for 400 followers. Definitely doable. Definitely doable. But y'all got to follow at Off the Glass Pod on Instagram, at Off the Glass Podcast on TikTok. This time we are going to be doing I need you to guess the NBA player based on their nickname. All these nicknames are going to be coming from Basketball Reference. I don't know if you've seen Basketball Reference nicknames before.
They be
having some wild ones.
They be having ones I've never heard of in my life. So this is gonna be interesting.
I'm gonna just start rattling off random players in my head, typing them in, and we're gonna see what nicknames pop up for them. So let me get the little intro out. I need you to guess the NBA player by their nickname. All of these are obviously coming from Basketball Reference. So the first player I have here for you, I'm just going to list out the nicknames. The nicknames are Dirty, Tall Baller from the G, German Race Car, and German Jesus.
So he's German.
He is German.
He's German. Who the hell is from Dennis Schroeder?
No,
I know.
I say no way they call it Dennis Schroeder German. Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I just knew he was. He's the only German I could think of. Oh my God! Is he playing now?
No, he's retired. Recently retired.
German. Who the hell is German Jesus?
That's like one of the more common nicknames I've heard him be called.
Really? I've never. I'm blanking. I don't know who this is.
It's only so many big time German basketball players.
That's why I said I'm blanking. Like I can't, bro. I literally the only one that's popping up in my head right now is Dennis Schroeder. That's just so weird, bro. I can't think of anybody else right now.
I've started it off easy. I try to pick somebody like super high notoriety.
This is about to be a bad one. I'm having a brain fart. I cannot think of anybody who's German right now.
This is Dirk Nowitzki.
I forgot he was okay. I'm be honest.
We'll say that was a warm up.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
Bro, I swear Basketball Reference got to make some of these up. Next guy I have for you, his nicknames are Meal Ticket, E.T., and the last one is Kung Pao.
This is a big man.
It's a big man.
Because I heard of who is Meal? I've heard of that before. Is he retired or is he playing? He's definitely retired, matter of fact. He's definitely retired. Is this a Hall of Famer?
Is a Hall of Famer.
Oh my God, I heard of this before. What was it? Say it in the games again. What is it?
Meal Ticket, E.T., and Kung Pao. The last one is I think the easiest one to work off of.
Kung Pao is crazy. Yao Ming?
It's not Yao Ming. You gotta think more literally for Kung Pao.
Bro, I've heard of Meal. Bro, this is gonna piss me off because I've heard of Meal Ticket before. Oh my god. This obviously is not like a guy like Shaq. This is not.
Mm.
I'll take it. I'm trying to think of the Hall of Famers. E.T. Kung Pao. Kung Pao's throwing me off. Matter of fact, the fact that you said it's the most helpful one is throwing me off. I know for a fact I've heard of Meal Ticket before.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna piss me off. I can't even think right now. I can't even think. Can I get a hint?
Most notable stint is with the Lakers. Won 2 championships with the Lakers.
This is this ain't what's his face. They say he's a Hall of Famer. This is not Kareem.
No, he only won 2. We only won 2 championships.
Okay, got you. James Worthy? Wait, what? With the Lakers?
Yes.
Bro,
recent Hall of Fame induction? That's what you gotta think. Literally, Kung Pao.
Paul Gasol?
Yes, bro.
Oh, I'm like, bro, who are you talking? What is Kung?
I literally just think they
Kung Pao. Yes. Bro, what are we talking about? Who calls him Kung Pao, bro?
Nobody, bro.
That's why I said the Kung Pao is actually throwing me off because I've never heard anyone call
you saying Yao Ming makes more sense, bro.
Bro, Kung Pao is crazy, but I guess. But no one's ever called him that. I'm not hearing it, bro. No, I'm not hearing it. The Meal Ticket. That's not who I thought I heard get called the Meal Ticket, but I guess so. I know I've heard that name before.
They call him the Big Ticket.
The Big Ticket. It was something that was like mixing me up there. I knew he was the Big Ticket.
Let me think of another interesting player. Some of these people only got like
Curry.
Right. I'm not trying to say somebody like that. I feel like that's too easy.
No, I'm messing with you.
But it's an interesting one. I've never heard him get called either of these. The nicknames are Crash and G-Force. G-Force is a hard name.
Gilbert Arenas?
Not Gilbert Arenas.
No, because they would have said Agent Zero up there too.
Yeah.
G-Force
is a throwback player.
Crash and G-Force. I'm assuming his name starts with Gerald Green.
It is a Gerald, but it's not Gerald Green.
Gerald Wallace?
It's Gerald Wallace. That's a good pull.
I was about to say G-Force. I obviously got to be somebody with G.
G-Force is kind of tough.
G-Force is hard.
Kind of tough.
G-Force is hard.
That is definitely kind of
Crash. Tough. Interesting. Bro's a crash out.
That's the only thing I can think of. Gotta be. All right, this next one here, I got. His nicknames are the Grindfather, Gucci, or Trick or Treat Tony.
Tony Allen?
Is Tony Allen.
The Grindfather?
I've heard the Grindfather before because man's motor is crazy.
That's true. And what was the middle one?
Gucci. I don't think he looked like Gucci Mane at all. Okay. Whatever y'all say, bro.
Bro, basketball. They just got somebody in there like, yo, bro, think of nicknames and just put them up there.
Bro, I'm telling you, they are making some of these up, bro. It's no way. It's literally no way. Let me see if I can find another obscure player who got wild basketball reference names. He got it. I'm not gonna say his first one because it's literally basically his name. So I'm gonna say the rest of them. The nicknames are Rabbit, Motormouth, TikTok, Aches and Pains, and The Big Hurt.
What?
All over the place. I'm pretty sure they called him that because he definitely, I think the last couple of years of his career, like have really bad injuries and ended up having to retire. But when he was playing, which was a while ago, like I'm talking like 60s, 70s, Hooper.
60s, 70s. Damn. Okay.
Aches and Pains is a crazy nickname. No, that's disrespectful. That's not even a nickname. That's an insult. Like,
Aches and pains, old and slow. Like,
right.
all right. In the 60s and 70s, I
Mhm.
hate old players. God damn it. I'm trying to think. This is like Kareem and them. Damn. No, this is like Wilt. Damn. Hold
This
on.
is. I don't think he played with Kareem at all. I think he played with, Jerry and Wilt. He's a Laker, so that helps.
What's his face? Bro, what is his name? Oh my god. He's a black dude.
Yeah.
What is he played with Wilt and them, right?
Yeah.
Bro, what is his name?
I know
Oh my
you're thinking of him. The
god.
name gonna come to you.
Bro. What is his name, bro? Oh my, this is gonna piss me off. Oh my gosh, this is about to piss me off. It's not Elgin Baylor, is it?
It is Elgin Baylor.
Okay. I was about to say.
and
I don't know why.
Pains, the Big Hurt. That is crazy, bro.
What was the first name that you said was?
It just was Elge.
Okay.
Right, I can't even say that. It's defeating the whole purpose.
I don't know why I couldn't think of his name.
Last couple here, since tip off should be in the next couple minutes. Again, it's more nicknames here, but I'm not giving the ones to you that are mad obvious. So there are two. The nicknames are the Mayor of Milwaukee and Crazy Eyes.
Michael Redd.
Not Michael Redd.
Brandon Jennings.
It's not Brandon Jennings.
The Mayor of Milwaukee. A buck, I'm assuming.
It's a
Chris
buck.
Middleton.
Not Chris Middleton.
I'm trying to think of somebody with that look. It's kind of funny looking. He's going bro crazy eye.
Crazy eye. He do got crazy eyes.
What's his face? Bobby Portis.
It's Bobby Portis.
That should have been the first one. That should have been the first one that came to mind. Crazy eye. Yo, that's funny. What was it? He had other ones up there?
Yeah, it was like Bobby Buckets, Big Bob, BP. Literally just his initials. Next one I got here. The nicknames are Be Easy, Walking Bucket, and Super Cool Bees.
Michael Beasley.
It is Michael Beasley.
That was an easy one. Yeah, that was an easy one.
Be Easy Beasley is a hard nickname, bro.
Be Easy Beasley is hard. You know what's crazy? The one that really gave it away was Walking Buckets. That's the funny part.
That's what he was.
Exactly. That's that was the one that I was like, oh yeah, that's Michael Beasley for sure.
He was a walking bucket.
That's kind of wild when players be like, yeah. You saw like what's his name was like who the hardest or the best one-on-one player ever do was like Michael Beasley. I think it was like Brandon Jennings said that, which is like
very possible.
That's true.
I'm trying to think of somebody else who got like interesting nicknames. Let me see. Oh no, did my basketball reference just freeze? Oh, here we go. Some of these nicknames are like I looked up Ricky Rubio and it's like Ricky Business, Tricky Ricky, Slick Rick.
I'm dead.
Nobody is calling him any of those things. Bro.
Literally, bro.
Slick Rick? Are we serious?
They're not using actual nicknames that these dudes get called.
All right, two more here. Next one I got. The nicknames are Candyman, The Goods, and The Package.
Drew Gooden.
Not Drew Gooden. The goods would be tough.
That's the only part. That's the only because like nothing else. Candyman, The Goods, The Package. There's no like context clues with none of these. That's the funny part. Candyman, The Goods, The Package. I'm assuming somebody. Are you leaving names out or no?
I left one out because it was just his initials.
Oh, Dang, all right, never mind. I kind of eliminated who I thought it was gonna be. Came in the goods, the packet. Is this a guard?
No, he is a forward, but he's
Uh,
a versatile forward.
mm,
Definitely a ahead
Lamar
of his
Odom.
time type of player. It is Lamar Odom. That's why I had to hesitate. I was like, he's not a guard, but man, he was doing some
He
guard
kind
type
of
stuff.
yeah, exactly. I feel you. I feel you. But I knew it was somebody that handles the ball. Oh no. Oh
And the
no.
last one I got, I didn't read all the nicknames. One of them is wild disrespectful, bro. Last player I got for you before we get up out of here. The nicknames are Big Drizzle, The Truth, Rasheed Wallace, and Good and Plenty.
And good and plenty.
Yeah.
The truth is Paul Pierce.
Apparently, this guy is also the truth according to Basketball Reference. I didn't even peep that as I was saying it. That's crazy.
That's
It
not
is
like the
not
truth.
Paul Pierce.
I was like the truth. That's I know one. The truth. Say it again. So
Big
Rasheed?
Drizzle,
Okay.
Rasheed Wallace, and then Good and Plenty, and then also the truth.
Derek White.
Not Derek White, but now I gotta Google this to see what it say.
Rasheed Wallace. Is it Rasheed Wallace? Is not, or that's too easy.
And no, it's not. It's not Rasheed Wallace. It's so disrespectful.
Who got a receipt in the hair? Who had Carlos Boozer?
Not Carlos Boozer, but you're on the right track. Bro is bald.
Okay. Damn. All right. One more time. Say him again. What is it?
Big Drizzle, The Truth, Rasheed Wallace, and then Good and Plenty.
Big Drizzle, The Truth. A bald player. Damn. Who the hell? Clyde Drexler.
Not Clyde Drexler.
Damn. This one's tough. I need like an error or something. This one's hard.
He played in like the early 2000s. Was a role player pretty much his whole career. Big man.
Big man. Damn. No, that Big Drizzle receipt. Nah, I don't know if it's as a Judas Ilgauskas.
Not Ilgauskas, but he did play on the same team with Ilgauskas in Cleveland.
Drew Gooden.
It is Drew Gooden.
Okay. I only for something else.
That's why I looked him up. Because when I see Rasheed Wallace, we had to go with it because Rasheed Wallace is crazy of a name, bro.
Receipt, bro. They be violating with this stuff. The draft comms do. Remember the washed? What was it? Washed Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to that one of these days because there's more bad ones in there for sure.
That's hilarious. Rasheed Wallace is crazy.
Let me I'm googling if people really called him that.
Did you see Derek White?
His just said the Buffalo.
What? What are we talking about here?
Oh, apparently people really used them. I just found a Slam magazine article from 2008 where somebody said, "This bro, he's getting dunked on." It says Drew's working with limited real estate after all, considering his head is basically out of play, and he had to shave his head. No choice there. There's a reason his nickname used to be Rasheed Wallace. Oops, Drew's gonna kill me for putting that out there.
Oops.
Anyway, with no hair on his head, all he can do is have fun with the facial hair.
That's crazy. They be violating, bro.
Apparently, Rasheed Wallace, the real thing. Oh,
now I just be wanting to like Google just to see people's nicknames now. Like some of these are fire.
Nah. I just Googled Drew Gooden hairline. No, bro, this is not real. That junk gotta be a joke.
Dang, my man's don't got no nickname. You could.
Who?
I was just having Robert. I put Andre Roberson. He don't got no nickname. My man's don't got nothing. My boy couldn't get one.
Dang. Yeah, some of them is they don't have no, even like notable people don't really have no nicknames up here. Like some of the people I was trying to look up didn't have nothing. But it is 7:12, which means because ESPN is always slow, a game probably is just now about to tip off, even though it said it was going to tip at 7.
Mm-hmm.
Which exactly hasn't even started yet. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. We appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of Off the Glass Podcast. Like I said, like, comment, whether you're watching this live or watch this after, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on the socials at Off the Glass Pod on Instagram, at Off the Glass Podcast on TikTok. Game 6, Thunder, Mavs. I think you said it earlier, but you're rolling with the Mavericks.
Yes, sir.
Rolling with the Mavericks as well. So by the time some of y'all are listening to this, the game already happened. So go ahead, clown us in the comments if we was wrong or let us know we was right. As always, I'm Billy That's Dame. We out. Peace.
Yes, sir.